Hello, hello. Welcome to our Halloween call for Self-Care Sunday. I hope you're doing well this Halloween, and I just really wanted to hop on and open up the space for you guys on this Sunday. And if nobody can make it, that's perfectly fine. Nothing wrong with that. And this recording will be here to help you out later on, right? So when you watch this, however long it is, that's a nice time to create space for you to do whatever you want to do. Like you could listen in one, you can just lay down on the ground and relax. You could, or on the bed, doesn't have to be the ground. You could do dishes, you can go for a walk, whatever it is, just do you, make some space for what it is that you want to be doing. Before we go into this call, I'm going to lay it out for you a little bit. Since nobody's hopping on live, I think I'll just go over the things I was going to talk about. And then if somebody hops on, we can talk about anything that's bothering them as I mess with my hair. We could talk about anything that's bothering anybody who hops on. And if you ever comment below the video, we'll talk about what you're commenting about too. I'm always here to help. So on this video today, we're going to talk about Halloween candy, handling all the Halloween candy that's going to be that you're around and seeing right now. It's going to be on sale in a couple of days. And we're going to talk about it in two different ways, like how we're doing it like emotionally, and then also with the diet mentality, right? There's two to three different ways that's happening. And then we're going to talk a little bit about the holidays coming up soon, right? And practicing the pause and what's coming there. And then I am excited to announce the accountability circle is launching. So I'll be talking about that at the end of the call as well. So here we go. Before we get started, we're going to do some deep breathing. If you'd like to join in, you can do this lying down with your eyes closed. You could do this seated. I recommend having both feet on the floor, and you can close your eyes if you want to. But before you close your eyes, just watch me for a moment. So we're going to do two things. One is diaphragm breathing. So we're going to breathe with our belly. So we're going to kind of push the belly out when we inhale, and then suck it back in when we exhale, and push it back out when we inhale, and then exhale. Right? And that's a little bit different than breathing with your chest, right? It's not that your chest won't move at all. It'll move a little bit, but we're not trying to breathe a lot with the chest. And then you can also use your ocean breathing, which is kind of like that Darth Vader breathing where we're fogging up a glass. We would do that on the inhale and the exhale, and we're doing it through our nose if you can. If you have like a deviated septum, or you're just mucousy or sick, or you can't breathe through your nose well, no biggie, you can breathe through your mouth. And if that's the case, let me know, because there are tricks to breathing through your mouth that can help calm you down in a better way than just like breathing through your mouth like that. One is to like roll your tongue like this and breathe through it like a straw to kind of control the air, right? That's the point of breathing through our nose. One of the points is that we're controlling the air a little bit more, so we slow it down and really like extend the breath, which is what helps calm us down. Okay. So if you're going to join in, we're going to just do 5 rounds. So sit comfortably or lay down. And now you can close your eyes. I'm going to count inhale 1, 2, 3, 4. And I'm going to say exhale 4, 3, 2, 1. You're just going to follow the prompts. Okay. Eyes closed. Breathing through your nose if you can. Breathing with your belly and turning on that ocean breathing, right? That noise, that Darth Vader breathing. And here we go. Inhaling 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhaling 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhaling 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhaling 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhaling 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhaling 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhaling 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhaling 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhaling 1, 2, 3, 4, and exhaling 4, 3, 2, 1. You can resume normal breathing. You can sit with your eyes closed. You can continue to breathe that way. Count to yourself, right? Just 4, 4. That's it. Don't try to go longer. Don't try to empty out your lungs and really exhale. Just normalize a 4x4 breathing if you want to. That's going to naturally help you feel calmer. Anytime on this call, if you feel anxious while watching the video. And otherwise, just go back to regular breathing. Don't overthink it. No big deal. That is just a tool that you can put in your tool belt to use anytime you're feeling a little anxious, which Halloween candy can do, which is why we just did that. So the goal is to practice that, right? And maybe see how you feel before and after. I recommend 10 rounds usually to really see an effect, but 5 is plenty. and just see, like, did it calm you down? Did your heart stop racing? Did your racing thoughts about candy kind of slow down a little bit? Were they unable to slow down, and the whole time you're breathing, they were just going and going, which is another thing, right? So, all right, as we jump in to talk about Halloween candy, I'm going to explain to you how to enjoy Halloween candy, right? And the goal would be to not overeat it, but also not really care if we overeat it. And that's going to be depending on where you are, who you are, what's going on with you. And there's no judgment, there's no right or wrong. Everybody's just on their own journey and on a different journey around food right now in this community and in life, including myself. Like, we all go through stages, right? So if you know for a fact that you're a binge eater, which a lot of people say, hey, I'm a binge eater, and maybe you're not, maybe just overeat a good amount emotionally. There's different ways of clarifying binge eating. I'm going to put a questionnaire in the community soon to kind of give some more information on that. But no matter what's going on, we don't have to identify with it. You don't have to be like, I'm a binge eater, this is what I do, right? What we want to do is recognize what's going on. And the best way we can do this is to actually go buy and enjoy the Halloween candy you want. And I know you're like, oh, I just wish that's not what she was saying. Right? There's a little part of this like, yeah, that's exactly what I wanted to hear. And there's this other part of it that's probably like, man, I thought she was going to have like some special secret to not overeat Halloween candy. And the special secret is that it's all up here. And so we have to work on that, right? Halloween candy is not going away. And you can't crawl in a hole and never see it again. And it's going to just be around. And so all that feeling and suffering of, there's Halloween candy, and you're walking past the bowl every 2 seconds, like, should I get a piece? Should I not? Don't get a piece this time. You're doing so great. Don't get a piece. And then you finally take one piece and you're like, what's the point? I already had a piece. Stage ruined. I might as well keep going, right? Stuff like that. Or maybe you do well after one, but then you end up having like 4, and then you're like, what's the point? Whatever it is, it's all happening here. It's not happening in the world, right? It is like, there's candy. Facts. There is candy. Not facts. Candy's going away. It's going to be taken away forever. No, it's abundant. Go to the store and look at how much candy there is. It's all up here, and we're telling ourselves we can't have it. So the key to buying and enjoying the Halloween candy you want, why is that the answer? Well, there's a couple of reasons why you're overeating Halloween candy, right? Let's say there's 3 reasons. And I talked about this in one of my podcasts, right? Overeating, emotional eating, binge eating. They're different. So if you're overeating Halloween candy and there's no thinking coming up, no diet mentality, right? You're not emotional even. It's just like, I like Halloween candy and it's delicious, right? And you end up having like 4 pieces of it, 5 pieces of it, like, I don't know, a few days in October, right? Like, okay, you bought Halloween candy, so you had like 5 pieces the first day you bought it. And then like the day before Halloween, the day of Halloween, you had 5 pieces. And then like, that was it, right? That's it. That's not that big of a deal. It's just Halloween. Like, it's cool. It's Halloween candy. It's everywhere. They're small, right? It doesn't have to be this big deal. Diet mentality is like, what's wrong with you? Why would you have any candy? You said you would have no sugar. And then we're like, we're terrible people. We failed. So let's just go eat all the candy and give up, right? We don't want to do that. Now, if it's turning into like, I'm eating all the Halloween candy and then I have to go back out and buy another bag of Halloween candy for the kids, and then I ate that bag of Halloween candy and I went back out to buy another Halloween bag of candy for the kids before Halloween got here, then we're in a cycle of like using food possibly either emotionally, or we're reacting to diet mentality, or both, right? And it can both be true. And so the answer to both is still going to be, allow yourself to eat and enjoy the Halloween candy you want. And the why, it's so frustrating, right? But the answer is because otherwise it backfires. And I know I have clients that they've experienced this themselves. They're doing great. They're ditching the diet mentality. A diet mentality thought pops up. They go with it. They run with it. They're like, yeah, let's do that. Let's weigh ourselves like every 5 minutes and like eat this food and see how much weight it puts on me. And it just backfires, right? It doesn't help that person not eat more food or not eat emotionally or feel good. It's kind of like a crazy feeling around food. And so that's what's happening with Halloween candy. So it's yummy, right? 3 reasons you're overeating it. It's yummy, it's emotional, binge. So if it's just yummy and you get lost in it, like I said, some overeating here and there, not that big of a deal. If it's emotional, then we're really trying to like emotionally like regulate ourselves and modulate ourselves, right? Our autonomic nervous system, we're trying to like control it more, which that's where the deep breathing comes in. It can really help us calm ourselves down before you reach for food. Try to breathe before you eat, right? So like think about emotional eating as like you're stressed. And that's not always emotional eating is not always like a bad feeling, right? So it could be stress, anxiety, overwhelm. People are coming for the holidays. Your kid's costume like is falling apart and they're really upset that it doesn't fit well and they're crying and you're like, candy, right? Like go away, locking yourself in the bathroom to get some peace of mind. I don't have kids, but I've heard stories. Whatever's going on. And then it could also just be like emotional in other ways. It could be like you're not taking a break from work, right? Like you're just sitting at your computer for 9 hours straight and you don't take a break. You ignore your hunger and then you wind up eating candy instead of a real meal. And then you're like, what's the point? I might as well just eat more candy instead of a real meal. And it's also a way to numb ourselves. So if you don't like how you feel and that feeling is a scary feeling and you've never really let yourself feel it, right? If your stress tolerance is low, meaning that like when you have feelings that of stress and overwhelm and anxiety, it's hard for you to handle them without reaching quickly for something to feel better. That would mean you have a low stress tolerance in a sense. And we want to work on creating that to be a little bit higher, not because we want to purposely stress you out, but because life does get stressful and handling our emotions without food is possible. And you're not bad for eating emotionally, but when it's causing it to become a binge because you start eating emotionally and then the diet mentality pops up, right? That's the third reason that you might be eating, right? You might turn into a binge because of diet mentality popping up, negative self-talk, guilt, shame around the food. What's the point? Shoulds, all those shoulds. I should be eating this. I shouldn't be eating that. I should do this. I shouldn't do that. The failure thoughts, I'm a failure. What's the point? Diet mentality. So when it comes to Halloween candy, you're either eating it just it's Halloween candy and it's Halloween time and you really don't have an eating disorder of any type and you don't have problematic eating. You're not yo-yo dieting. It's just yummy and you're probably fine. Emotional eating, right? Overdoing it emotionally because you just don't like how you feel. So you reach for food to help you feel better. And there's that thought of, oh, dopamine and sugar. And I get this immediate rush of yay. But there's also a crash that leads to more sugar cravings. And it's not to say that don't have sugar, right? It's just to be aware of that. And like, hey, we just don't need to be reaching for it as often. Like, can we practice modulating our emotions without food? And then diet mentality, like I said, is that all or nothing thinking? And that diet mentality can lead to avoiding meals and skipping meals altogether and like hoarding calories, right? So for instance, like you know that you have chocolate at home that you want to eat, right? And you're like, okay, cool, so I'll have dinner. But then you give yourself like this much dinner and then you have like that much chocolate. And it's like, can we do it the other way where we have this much dinner and this much chocolate? Because the body wants the nutrients, right, from your dinner. And that's the goal, is to notice your hunger and eat. And so I want us to practice some mindful eating right now. So you can try shaking a piece of candy, like I said, or something. You can open it. Our goal is just to sit for a moment and breathe. Just hold the candy in the wrapper, whatever you have. It could be a grape. It doesn't have to be junk food, right? It could be healthy. It could be an apple. It could be anything you want. It could be an almond. I don't care. I just have Kit Kats because it's Halloween. So I'm just holding it, right? And I just want you to like just notice what's coming up. All you're doing is holding a candy. All I'm doing is holding a candy. Do you have a lot of thinking about me holding a candy? Do you have a lot of thinking about me telling you to eat candy? Right? What's wrong with it? Why would you do that? This is diet mentality, right? A lot of it is. It's not that you can't have your own thoughts and opinions. Yes, 100%. But just notice how quickly it's fear-based and judged, and the fear of weight gain, and I can't have that, and a negative, right? I'm just holding a piece of candy. You're just holding a piece of candy, possibly. Or like how badly you just want to open it and eat it. Is your mouth already watering, right? Can you smell it through the wrapper? Is your mouth watering? Are you hungry? Like, no, I'm not hungry. Like right now, if I checked it, I'm not that hungry. And the amazing thing about the body is that once it starts to smell something, or even think about eating, you'll start to salivate and your hunger might start to kick on because the body's preparing to eat. It's like, oh, I wasn't ready to digest food, but now that we might be eating, let me get ready to digest food. So I'm going to start to salivate because saliva has enzymes that break down food. And it's like, let's go eat. Now, this doesn't mean you're hungry. It could just mean that you're just thinking about food, right? If you just ate a like huge meal 30 minutes ago, and now you feel this salivation again, you might not be hungry. You're just thinking about food. Have some water and see if it goes away. If you haven't eaten in 30 hours, you're probably hungry, right? So now I have an open wrapper and we just want to look at it. Look at that. Nothing special, but it is, right? This Kit Kat, this chocolate causes so much suffering. So it is special. So we don't want to just scarf it down and eat it in 1 second, right? Which is possible, which is what usually happens, mindless. But you want this. And then you give it to yourself, you eat it really quick, and then you make yourself feel guilty. You barely even enjoyed it and you already feel guilty. So at least enjoy it if you're going to make yourself feel guilty. And then let's work on not making yourself feel guilty. So what does that mean? Well, you can pop the whole thing in your mouth. It's small. That's fine. There's really nothing wrong with that, right? At all. I do it sometimes, right? And you don't have to. So I want you to practice using your senses first, right? So like chocolate on your finger, like you could hold it with your hand for a few seconds and let the heat of your body melt it and then drop off the finger, right? You can smell it. I can smell chocolate, right? I can see it. I can hear the wrapper. And now we're going to taste it. So you can go really slow. You can lick it, right? You can take half. I say take half of it. I want you to try to let it melt into your tongue. Really let it melt into your tongue. Chew it, let it melt. Try to make it last 20 chews, right? Half of this, 20 chews. It's okay if it doesn't last. It's going to get like a filmy, chocolatiness on your tongue or whatever you're eating, and you're going to swallow it. And I want you to just close your eyes and I want you to inhale through your nose and taste the smell of chocolate as you chew it. So use your tongue and, pick it out of your teeth, all the good stuff. I'm not going to act like we don't like to do that. It's part of the eating process. So you'll notice I definitely didn't chew it 20 times. It's like impossible to chew this 20 times, right? Again, it's not a real rule. It's just the type of food you're eating and just to be slow, right? So I chewed it a few times and I really let it melt. Still have a lot left. Wait, that took like 20 or 30 seconds, right? Versus I've eaten one of these in 5 seconds, the whole thing, and barely remember it, barely tasted it. And I'm like, I want another because I barely got to taste that. And so there's nothing wrong with having more. But a big part of why we want more is because we don't let ourselves taste our food, because we eat it really fast, whether that's habitual or because there's discomfort while eating that we don't want to feel. So we try to get through that discomfort as fast as possible. Whether that's because we're telling ourselves we shouldn't be eating it, whatever it is. We'll just savoring it. It can be really nice. So we're going to take another bite before we do. Breathe. If you didn't breathe last time, let's breathe. I want us to consider a few things, right? Is any diet mentality popping up, right? Any thoughts of like, this is delicious, but I shouldn't be having it. Like, what's going on, right? Comment below the video. Was it as delicious as anticipated? This is a great question. And we still have a bite left. Keep it in mind, right? Expectations can be a downfall. It's not to say that don't have hope or expectations. It's just to say that when we attach our self-worth and our goals and everything to that anticipated expectation, and it's not like it, we get upset, right? So if this wasn't as satisfying as we thought, we'd be like, that's not fair. Let's go get more chocolate to feel more, like to get that satisfaction. There's nothing wrong with going to get that satisfaction, but at the same time, a part of that is just mental, and it's you're upset the expectation didn't pan out, but it was just an expectation. So sometimes they don't, and you still got the chocolate. And when you let yourself eat it slowly and savor it, you get the experience. And that's all we ever want to do, is just actually experience what is happening and not what we think is happening or how we think it's going to happen, or the fear that what might happen if we do it. So was it delicious as anticipated, and what would it feel like to have more? So let's find out. We're going to finish this off. Again, you might not be eating the same thing as me. I'd love to know what you chose to eat, if anything. And yeah, I recommend chocolate if you can. Again, if you have health issues, don't do chocolate. But I recommend chocolate because this is one of the foods that most people say, no, I can't have it. So chocolate or carbs, right? The food that you usually tell yourself you can't have, it's off limits, that you like the taste of, that you really wish you would let yourself have. Like that food that you tell yourself, I wish I could just eat what I want, not gain weight, right? That thought process. I've been there so many times. What's that food? Let yourself have it right now. Practice this, right? This is us practicing intuitive eating just a little bit. We're not even like really checking in with hunger and fullness, which is important to do too. We're just practicing the eating part, the slowing down. going to take this bite and not talk until I feel ready, until I feel done chewing it. And I want you to do the same. Close your eyes, inhale. Here we go. All right. You might want to rush and like grab butter. I recommend not. Give it a minute. You wanted this taste. This is exactly what you wanted. It might even be overwhelming, right? You might want water. Oh, that chocolate on my tongue is like dripping down the back of my throat, and it's hard to swallow it. This is what you wanted, right? You wanted to taste it. You wanted to enjoy it. Let yourself do that. No guilt. The more you let yourself enjoy the things you want without the guilt, the less the guilt will start to come up. And the more to just start to enjoy the things you want. And the only thing that really stops that is that fear of weight gain, but because of the diet mentality, right? Or again, the emotions come up and they're so strong that habitually we just reach for food, right? And so if you find yourself, hey, I've already had 3 of these really fast emotionally, and I'm already on my 4th one, and 4th one's in your mouth, and you recognize it, and you're like, oh man, I'm doing this really fast. Just slow down right then. Stop chewing. Let it melt into your tongue in that 4th one. Don't spit it out. Don't guilt trip yourself. Don't go throw all the other chocolate in the garbage. Just slow down when you notice it. That's all you can ever do. And don't be so mean to yourself about it. Because chocolate's delicious and it's a hard habit to break. We're not talking about breaking the habit of eating chocolate. We're talking about breaking the habit of using food emotionally and or ditching the diet mentality to break the binge eating cycle. So whichever one you're struggling with, because usually it's one of those 2. And sometimes the diet mentality is not leading to a binge and it's leading to something else like bulimia or anorexia. So you could be struggling with that as well. I am just more, I guess, comfortable talking about binge eating because I've been doing that for years and practicing and not practicing binge eating, but coaching other people on it. So, okay, I'm going to take a sip of water though because I have to talk more. Oh, really good. I haven't had a Kit Kat in a while. All right. So that is like every meal. Like when you're just eating a meal, like I don't care if you're going out to eat and you're having like delicious like 5-course meal, if you're just going out to McDonald's because you like McDonald's, whatever it is, you're just having chips and popcorn, whatever it is, right? Because no food's off limits. You're like, Megan, why are you saving those foods? Just make sure you're savoring it and aim to just, it's not about having a portion, but that could be a good guideline. Look at the thing. What's a portion? A cup? Start with the cup. Just start with a cup. It's there. You can get more, right? Of whatever that food is. Right now we're talking about candy. So there's no right or wrong amount to be having. It's really about you listening to your body. You're going to notice like, oh, if I have a bunch, you're going to feel this like upset stomach and like, ugh, right? Maybe get a sugar high off of it. Like this mental sugar high feels good, but the body doesn't. So we want to pay attention to that, right? Because it's not all about the sugar high, right? The body not feeling good it causes like extreme mood swings later on. So that matters too, because that gets rid of that sugar high really quick. So that was the entire thing I really want to talk about on the call today. Was Halloween candy, letting yourself eat it, practicing eating it really slowly, making sure you have the ones you want. So like if you have a bag of Halloween candy and like it has things that you don't eat, that you don't like if you're not a fan of Whoppers, don't eat those, right? And you're like, all right, Megan, but I ate all the other good stuff that I like, and then all that's left is Whoppers, and now I'm craving chocolate, so I'm gonna start eating it. Don't eat those. Not because you can't have chocolate, but because you don't like Whoppers. Why are we wasting, like, you are allowed to have chocolate, and we're wasting it on some chocolate that you don't like. Why? Go get the chocolate that you like. Give that away. Throw it away. Not because it's bad and it's chocolate and you shouldn't eat it for weight loss, right? But because you don't like it. It's okay to just not like something and then just choose not to eat it, including chocolate. All right. So I would love to know what you chose to eat on this call when you do this experiment for yourself, how that experiment went for you, any diet mentality that popped up. Was it delicious? Did you really enjoy it? Was there guilt, trip, and shame? Was there no guilt, trip, and shame? I'm so curious, and I'd love to know. And we'll be practicing this more in the accountability group. So here's my big announcement, which is going forward, this monthly Zoom call, this longer Zoom call is going to be part of the self-care accountability circle, which is a paid group. So going forward in the free membership area, it'll be the live check-in every Sunday for 15 minutes. And then in the paid accountability group, there's going to be live check-ins throughout the week, 3 to 4 times a week, and then a monthly group Zoom call for group coaching. There's a lot of reasons for this. One of them is time and commitment. So this is a lot of time to be showing up and coaching, and then it's about you guys committing. So change really happens with consistency and commitment. And that doesn't mean being perfect. It doesn't mean showing up every single time, right? It just means that you are committed to making the change, ditching the diet mentality, and practicing intuitive eating and showing up and asking questions. And when you're struggling, using that accountability group in the community to help with the struggle in that moment versus just struggling alone and then just coming in and complaining about it later, right? We want to get out of that complaint mode of like, this is what happened and I don't know why, and try to catch it as soon as possible. Hop in the community and say, I'm struggling with this right this second, right? Take those deep breaths and work through them. That's how real change happens. And it does happen by noticing it later too, right? Reflecting on it. And then slowly but surely, it's about noticing our habits more in the moment as they're happening and making choices in the moment. Like I said, if you're mid eating your 4th Kit Kat, you have a choice to slow down if that's when you're noticing your eating habit. Sometimes we don't notice it to the 4th one. But if we see that and we choose to ignore that choice, because what's the point? And we stay stuck in that diet binge cycle, right? And that diet mentality. And that's what we're trying to get out of. So the self-care accountability circle is going to be a paid membership site for any member that's currently a member of the community right now. As a thank you for always sticking with me and being a member of this community for the past year or two, it will be at a 50% discount for you guys. So it's just $19 a month. And yeah, it's going to have a lot of accountability. It's going to be curated to your guys' needs, whoever's joining it. It's going to just be what your goals are and holding you accountable to them and supporting you on the way to them, whether that's meal prepping and cooking more and healthy recipes, ditching the diet mentality, practicing intuitive eating, practicing embracing body love, anything, letting go of counting calories, whatever you're working on to break the binge eating cycle and really create more self-care, right? We want to focus on self-care here in a loving way and reevaluate what that means to you. And then I will be posting about it a few more times this week to go over everything that's included in it in the group. And I'll post a link for you guys that's just a special link just for you guys. I'll be messaging you in the chat and emailing it to you. And you can choose to use that anytime between now and January 1st. And then after that, we're going into the full paid membership. So I will be hosting a few other things. One is my family coming to visit the first 2 weeks of November. I'm very excited about that. And so I will be a little bit less here for those first 2 weeks, mainly on the 9th, 11th, and 13th. So if you're joining the accountability group, we're going to be meeting on Monday, Wednesday, and Fridays. So the Wednesday, the 9th and the 11th, I'm going to be up in Northern California with really bad service. And so most likely won't be able to hop on live for those. And I just want to give you a heads up on that if you join the accountability now. So you're still going to get tons of accountability and help. We'll be back on the week right after that, but just a heads up. And then I'll be hosting a live free version of Practice the Pause, November 18th through the 22nd. And that's going to be for all members. Anybody can join it. What that's going to be is it's going to be me hopping on live for the 15 minutes, just like I've been doing in the Sundays for 5 days straight. And each day is going to be about one of the videos within Practice the Pause. So the videos are really short. I think they're all under like 6 minutes. So one day you're just going to watch the P perception video. I'm going to hop on. I'm going to talk a little bit more about it. You can ask questions about it. Maybe you have a certain thing coming up yourself. Hey, this is what's going on. I'm going to this family, or this family's coming over and they always do this to me. They always say these words. This is the time to get some extra coaching, maybe extra guidance. If you feel like you need it around how to handle the holidays and utilize practicing the pause more in your life and practicing it more, right? Practicing the pause. So that's going to be November 18th through the 22nd. I'll also be coming into the group and talking about that more in the main community area so you know about it, and I'll make an event out of it so you know as well. And that's really everything. So that's going to help set us up for the holidays, right? Because the holiday season is here. And whether you are in the States or not, whether you celebrate Thanksgiving or Christmas or Hanukkah or Kwanzaa or any holiday, it still can be really hard. There's usually almost always a lot of food, or it could be a fasting holiday. There's just something going on with food. So if you're struggling with that, let me know, right? There's no right or wrong holiday to be celebrating. It's each their own. So I hope that you guys have a wonderful rest of your Sunday and that you enjoyed this experiment with eating slower, trying to have some chocolate. And I'd love to know what you think about how to handle Halloween candy and my advice on just letting yourself have it. And what kind of thoughts come up? The fear thoughts. There's probably some fear phrases, like a lot of fear around having the sugar in the house. You might overeat it. And that's not the end of the world. And it feels like it because you want to break the binge eating cycle and the overeating cycle, and you want to lose weight. But a big part of the cycle is the fact that we don't let ourselves have what we want, and we create a lot of guilt and shame when we do have what we want. And so it sounds counterintuitive to let yourself have Halloween candy and eat it as much as you really want to, but it is one of the best ways to heal. And I'd love to know what you think about that. It's okay if it's scary. It's okay if you don't believe me. You don't have to. It helped me heal. It helps all my clients heal. So I believe it, but I'd love to help you see it for yourself. And the only way we could do that is to try it out and experiment a little bit more and see what happens for us, what's coming up negatively in our thinking and stuff, versus just thinking about doing it and saying, I'm not going to do it. Because thinking about doing it is not the same as doing it and actually seeing what happens. So I'm going to leave you with that. Give it a try, see what it feels like, versus think about doing it and then don't even try. Have a great rest of your Sunday. And I will be posting in the community more this week about the accountability circle and practice the pause holiday challenge. Talk to you soon.